Whenever there is a decline of dharma and a rise of adharma, then I manifest myself. For the purpose of to protect the sadhus. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge. Yuga after yuga, again and again and again, I keep manifesting myself. That which causes my birth, Arjuna, is the rise of adharma. That which causes my birth, that which necessitates my birth, is the rise of adharma. I manifest myself means periodical appearance of masters. We don't say periodical birth of masters, we say periodical appearance of masters. There is an unbroken lineage of these great masters. For the reason of the adharma becomes, whenever unrighteousness increases, decline of dharma, and adharma is rising. These two words, dharma and adharma, are the most complicated. You never get two words more complicated than this dharma and adharma. What defines dharma? What defines adharma? Second, who defines it? What defines dharma and adharma? Second is, who defines it? One adharmic person cannot define dharma. So, who defines dharma? So, they have taken whatever the great masters say is dharma. That's why for dharma, the pramanam, authority. What is whose authority for dharma? You can't be the authority. Why you can't be the authority? You can't be the authority in deciding what is dharma and adharma. You can't decide that. Why is it that you can't decide? Because you can't decide. Why you can't decide? Because you are avidya. Ajnanam it is. Avidya, ajnanam. A person who is of avidya and ajnanam cannot decide what dharma and what adharma is. What is the definition of avidya? Avidya has kama and karma. Avidya means kama and karma. Kama means desire and karma means that which comes out of this kama. Desire and action. Desire, action. That's why it is called desire-ridden action. Avidya means kama and karma. Karma means action, kama means desire. So avidya means desire-ridden action. So a person who is avidya karma cannot decide dharma and adharma. That's why the very title chapter is called Jnana Karma, not Avidya Karma. Chapter 4 title is called Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga, not Jnana Karma is not there. Now what is it there? What is it there? It is Avidya Karma. And those who are a product of this Avidya Karma, those who are living this life of Avidya Karma cannot decide Dharma and Adharma. You follow? See, first you have to establish how you are not qualified to decide. Then only we will understand who is qualified to decide. So first analysis, first step in analyzing is how you are not qualified to decide what is Dharma and Adharma. Because you don't have Jnana, you don't have Vidya, it is Avidya. And what is Avidya means? Desire-ridden actions. Kama and karma. So, a person who is avidya, who is having this kama and karma, will his entire thinking process, his entire definitions of dharma and adharma will be circling around his karma and his karma. You have to follow. And a person of avidya, when he thinks, his thinking, everything will be circling around his karma and his karma. So dharma according to you will be your karma and karma. Dharma according to me will be my karma and karma. We both will be contradicting each other, fighting with each other, as to determining what is dharma and what is adharma. So first thing you have to establish is you are not qualified. Why you are not qualified? Because there has to be some conviction, no? There has to be a reason to say that you are not qualified. Simply you can't say you are not qualified. Avidya. I am not qualified. If you are not qualified means everyone around you at your level is also not qualified. If you are eliminated, those around you also is eliminated. Then who decides what dharma and adharma is? I come and decide his. Periodically I keep visiting again and again and again to keep deciding, to keep establishing what is this dharma and adharma. It's a statement of assertion. It's a statement of assertion, that's all. There's no big logical analysis in this. It's a very assertive statement. I decide dharma and adharma because that which causes me to come, that which necessitates me to come is the decline of dharma and the rise of adharma. This is not the problem. The problem is what is dharma and what is adharma. Whenever we talk about dharma, we try to give a sense of permanency to that dharma. It has to be permanent. If amendments after amendments can be brought in and it can be changed in, then you cannot call it as permanent. You follow? First thing about these are all the ways of understanding the principle of Dharma and Adharma, not the list of what is right and what is wrong. Don't worry about the list of what is right and what is wrong. You will say, analysis. Simply say, what is right, what is wrong, what is Dharma, the list it becomes that much easy. Why go through all this complicated, who is authority, who is not the authority, vidya, avidya, why? Your actions follow your conviction. Your actions always follows your convictions. And conviction comes through knowledge and understanding. That's why it is very important. Action can never give a conviction. Action can never give a conviction. It is the conviction that leads to action. This is the basic law. Therefore, we try to arrive at what brings about this conviction. If this conviction comes, whatever the Shastra says, whatever the Shastra says as Dharma and Adharma, you will follow. Nobody has to tell you follow Dharma. You will follow by yourself. Now, if you lack the conviction, how much ever it is said, this is Dharma, this is Adharma, this is Dharma, this is Adharma, you will not be able to follow. Or, you will appreciate what is said here and go back and do exactly the opposite of it. For there is no conviction. So, the first thing is to develop the conviction. Conviction comes through this process of logic, analysis, reasoning, all that. That's why we are trying to, we are confusing it so much. First is established. What? You are not the adhikari to decide Dharma is established. You means not only you, when you are removed, everybody around you at your level is also removed. Then who is the adhikari? Then who decides what Dharma and Adharma is? The Shastras decide. Tasmat Shastram Pramanam Te. Therefore, let Shastras be your authority. And what is the Shastra? The Guru Vakya is the Shastra. What is the Shastra? What is Bhagavad Gita? Bhagavad Gita is a Shastra. Guru Vakya is what Shastra is. There is no separation between the Guru Vakya and Shastra. Both are same. You follow? See, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is talking. 700 verses he is talking. That is, we call it as Shastra. That is Guru. The Guru Vakya is what the Shastra is. And he says, and the Guru says, whenever Dharma declines and Adharma flourishes, I manifest myself. Then comes the definition of what is Dharma and what is Adharma. Then comes the definition. of what is dharma and what is adharma. The word dharma comes from the root word, the dhatu. The root word for dharma is dhr, means that which supports. That which supports is dharma. That which supports is dharma. That which supports what? That which supports what? Not kama and karma. That which supports. Dharma means that which supports. But what kind of a definition is that? So you have to ask. The way they define itself, they will make you. Dharma is that which supports. Supports what? Not kama and karma. Not desirable actions. If it doesn't support kama and karma, then what does it support? Then what does it support? The opposite of it. I am not supporting this. Means I am supporting the opposite, no? Don't worry. Neutral and there is no such thing as I am neutral. That doesn't it. Neutral means you will die. There is no such thing called neutrality. Neutrality is a political way of saying neutrality na Shankar. Assembly la walk out in Madrid. Either you stay there and say I oppose, or you stay there and say I support. Either you say I support or against. When I say walk out in neutrality at what is it? It's an indirect way of correct. Correct than that. So indirect way of supporting. But then technically I am not supporting. When it is happening, I wasn't there. Therefore I am not. Politics idella. All these are political in nature. For dharma and adharma, it doesn't. All this way of functioning, this neutrality and all that doesn't happen for dharma and adharma. Dharma and adharma is very clear. Very clear as in the knowledge and understanding. So, when you say, when it is not supporting the kamya karma, when it is not supporting desirable karmas, then what does it support? Then what does it support? Yajna karma. Then what does it support? Yajna karma. That's why whole of chapter 4 is yajna karma. So, adharma is kamya karma, dharma is yajna karma. So, whenever kamya karma increases, great masters come and say, they bring the balance. How do they bring the balance? How do they bring the balance? How do they bring the balance? By trying to tell you, by trying to educate, by trying to convince, by trying to inspire, whatever be the method. This is how the dharma, the adharma is. This is how adharma is. The presence of the great masters brings down the adharma and dharma flourishes. Number 2. Is this dharma individual or collective? Are you able to follow the question? Is this dharma individual or collective? Don't say individual. Don't say collective. First digest the For you have not even thought about it. Is dharma individual or collective? I am not asking for an answer, please. நீங்க ஏதாவது ஆன்சர் சொன்னா நான் குழம்பு போயிடுவேன். Don't give any answer. Rhetoric தான் அதெல்லாம். Is dharma individual or dharma collective? It can't be collective. Why it can't be collective? Is because there are very many individuals having very many combinations of gunas. There are very many individuals having very many combinations of gunas. Therefore, there cannot be a collective dharma. Dharma has to be individualistic. But sir, we all have to live together as a community, as a society, because man is a social animal. So we need some rules and regulations for the collectivity also, for which the answer is the collective dharma is an indication of lack of self-discipline. Collective dharma is a lack of self-discipline. What is the lack of self-discipline? We have to pay taxes. Example. We have to pay our taxes. If something is enforced means what? If something is enforced, it means what? Something has to be enforced means by ourselves, the individual is not disciplined. The individual is not disciplined, and these indisciplined individuals get together is what that? What is a society? Collection of சொல்லிட்டு சொன்னேன். Go, please. Society is nothing but a collection of indisciplined individuals. So, you form society is a collection of indisciplined individuals. Therefore, you have to form a system to bring about a minimum order, not discipline, a minimum order for effective functioning, which is more social in nature, but not dharmic in nature. There's a difference. It is not of dharma, but it is one of to bring an order. It's like raising the voice and questioning the other person. That is temporary. You got it? Therefore, the adharma and dharma is of the collective at one level, but then it truly becomes individualistic at another level. In Vedanta, whenever we talk about dharma, we don't talk about the collective dharma. We always talk about the individual dharma. Why I am saying all this is, you kept on talking, so people misunderstand it by saying, so Vedanta na society pati illam pati kavale kadadu, they are very selfish and self-centered. They are so worried about only their liberation, their salvation, their goal. Saying the dharma is of individualistic by nature. Why it can't be collective is because there cannot be a permanent dharma in regarding to that which is which is changing. What is it that is changing in the individuals? The gunas change. The proportion of the gunas keep changing. When the proportion of the gunas keeps changing, accordingly their karma also change. So when guna and karma changes, dharma and adharma also changes. One way of studying dharma and adharma as in social science. Another way of studying it as an individual. Here we talk about even when it is addressed to the collective group, it is not addressed to the collective. It is addressed to the individual only. With this basic background of understanding, we will go into the question of dharma and adharma. In the background order, we have to understand what Krishna is saying as, whenever there is decline of dharma and rise of adharma, I manifest myself. Are you okay till now? Huh? The world is a mixture of good and evil. The world is a mixture of good and evil. Good cannot exist alone, nor evil can exist alone. So, a very deep understanding is required on this conclusion first. Please understand, for an enlightened master, this is a conclusion. For us, it is an hypothesis. What is it? World is an admixture of good and bad. Good cannot exist without evil, and evil cannot exist without good. Rama and Ravana coexist. They are contemporaries, no? Krishna and Sakuni is also contemporary. They didn't live in two different. They didn't live in two different eras. They both lived at the same time. Prahlada and Hiranyakashipu is. They lived at the. It means good and evil coexist. Coexist means what? Coexist means what? Coexist means what? Coexist means what? It is at the same time. Coexist means? Suzana, I can't hear.
You cannot eradicate either one of them.
You can't?
Eradicate either one of them.
You can't eradicate either one of them. It's an Upanishad statement. Say it simply. You have to live with it. You have to live with good and, that's why it is called good and evil coexist means you have to live with it. Usually 50% of the problem is solved. Because then you will know how to adjust. Badri solra, you will know, adjustment easy, sir. Uh-huh. Good and evil coexist means what? You have to live with it. You have to live with it means you can't do anything about it. As in the world, you can't do anything about it. As in you can do something about it. Carefully follow the segregation. As in the world, you can't do anything about it. As in you can do something about it. From this rises the conclusion. What? Don't try to change the world. Don't try to change the other. Because you have reconciled to live with it. You have reconciled to live with it and change yourself. Another divorce in the concept doesn't exist here. You know why? Because you have to live with it, and not only but she is living with me. No, she knows that. Another one you have to live with it, and you can't do anything about it, and you can do something about it internally. Here, the entire understanding about dharma, righteousness and unrighteousness brings a paradigm shift in your attitude, in your thinking. Otherwise, it is always about changing the others. It doesn't work because good and evil coexist. Mantra Mari, daily you have to say yourself. Good and evil coexist. Hello? I can't do anything about it. Since I can't do anything about it, I have to live with it. And if I have to live with it, since I can't change that, I will change. That is liberation. This is called moksha. Sakshan mokshaika sadhanam. This knowledge is the direct means of liberation. This is the direct means of liberation. I come and teach this again and again and again, teaches. I come and teach this again and again and again. We think great masters, Dharma, they are going to become a social reformer. No, not social reformers. Good and evil coexist. Repeat the sentence repeat the steps 5 times. You will feel like it class out to because too difficult to digest. Good and evil coexist. Just as the good and evil coexist in you. Just as good and evil coexist in you, it exists in the world. It is Sat. Sat means existing. It is existing means you can't do anything about it. You can try and modify it. You can try and change it. You can bring in new ways of. You can try and bring in new ways of a change. But then the other will find a way to circumvent that also. You make a rule, along with the rule, what is made? loophole is also made. When you make a rule, along with that rule, what is made? Loophole is also made. Depends on the mera shakti of that person, that's all. That depends on if the person is intelligent, he will find it very soon. Dumb person will wait for somebody to find the loophole and copy it. But nevertheless, the moment you make a law, you make a rule, there will be a loophole. For there cannot be a man-made rule which is permanent. Carefully follow. There cannot be any man-made rule which can be permanent. And Dharma means permanent. There has to be a permanency. Then only it is Dharma. Yeah. So your full circle, but adage vandu. You follow? There has to be a permanency. And anything man-made cannot be permanent. That is why Vedanta, the Vedas are called Apaurusheyam. Apaurusheyam they say. Paurusha means created by man. Apaurusheyam means not created by man. For anything that is created by man will have a fallacy in it. Anything that is created by man will have a fallacy in it. There will be a loophole in it. It all depends upon the intelligence of loopholes, no? Vedanta, Veda, Dharma, the great masters, all that is called Apaurusheyam. Apaurusheyam means not a product of a person. It is there it has been there forever. So Dharma is that which transcends time. Dharma is that which transcends time. Transcends time means it is there forever. Limited Dharma and adharma. Limited Dharma, meaning bound by time and place. It's called limited Dharma. Yeah. Holiday is a temporary liberation, no? Holiday is a temporary liberation. And moksha cannot be. Yeah. Temporary liberation, a holiday. It has to be unlimited. It has to be permanent. If it has to be permanent means that which supports that also has to be permanent. Because only a permanent can support the permanent. Impermanent cannot support the permanent. So Dharma is that which transcends time. Dharma is that which transcends. When we say it transcends time means it transcends everything that is impermanent. It is of something permanent. All the Dharma as in ethics and morals doesn't fit under this definition because it keeps changing. And it changes according to the changes. The changes are always according to desha and kala, time and place. These are all the logic of it. Now, examples it becomes easy. A society that is vegetarian in one desha and kala is not vegetarian in another desha. In Calcutta and Mangalore, the Bengal Brahmins and the Mangalore Brahmins eat fish. Those who are born and brought up in the Delta, their desha it is. Are you able to follow? The ethics is related to the ethic is related to the desha. Why? Because when it is under water for 8 months, when it is under water for 6 months, what will you do? You follow what I am saying? So if you take this Dharma and Adharma to be morals and ethics, we get into a very tricky zone. We get into something which is very unreliable because it changes according to desha and kala. Having the tuft was Dharma at one point of time, and then all went for haircut. Now again, tuft, correct. What all ways of? I am not saying which is right, which is wrong. It keeps changing. Conditions. The ethics and morals changes according to your conditions. When you are afflicted with a vyadi, disease, the dharma and adharma changes. So, anything from the world, there cannot be a clear distinction of dharma and adharma. Why? Because it's always a mixture of good and evil. So when I come and resurrect dharma, what do I mean? Krishna is saying that. I am not saying. Krishna is saying. What do I say? They promote righteousness. What is the righteousness? What is the righteousness? You don't fall a victim to it. Iniquity there shall exist in this world. The Bible. Iniquity there shall exist in this world means it will be there. Nothing can be done about it. If one has to live, the other has to go through pain. If lion has to live, the deer has to go through the pain. If deer has to live, the plant has to go through the pain. So it is always how to make sure that plant also is good, deer is also good. Win for all. Says in your hallucination maybe it exists. In reality it doesn't exist. Therefore, the dharma and adharma also keeps changing. Duryodhana asks this question to Krishna. You accused us of manipulation. And what did you do? Krishna didn't answer. Whenever uncomfortable question comes, just smile. Just smile. Krishna is subtle ways of these teachings from Krishna is more wonderful than this thing. Any uncomfortable question comes, simply smile, because he is not ready. Duryodhana is not yet ready for the right answer. He is not yet ready for the right answer. Most of the time you ask a question and not ready for the answer. I want to be happy, sir. What to do? You are not ready for the answer. Just because you ask a question you assume that you are ready for the answer. No, most of the times you cannot answer questions because you are not yet ready for the answer. Yes, for an intelligent question, intelligent answer will be given. But then you are asking for transformation. You are not asking for an intelligent question. You are not asking an intelligent answer. You are asking for a transformation. And when you ask questions about transformation, Dharma and Adharma is slightly different. What is it? World is a mixture of good and evil. As long as you live in the world, you have to live amidst good and evil. Good and evil means everything. Whoever you live with, some will have manda buddhi, some will have meda shakti. Now you have to live with. You have to live with both. It means only one thing you can do. What? You can fortify yourself and live. You can strengthen yourself and live. This strengthening is what is knowledge. And this knowledge leads to moksha. And great masters, time and again, they come and liberate you. They come and liberate you. What is the liberation? From adharma to dharma. Okay. Now, coming to the actual practical thing. We are not talking anything as dharma and adharma from the social standpoint at all. From the individual standpoint, what is dharma and what is adharma? From the individual standpoint, what is adharma? Find out what all is adharma and eliminate that. You will end up in dharma. Neti is the technique of the Shastras. Find out all that which is adharma and keep eliminating that. You will end up in dharma. Now from the individual standpoint, what is adharma for that individual? At the level of the senses, individual, na? What is an individual's senses? Mind, intellect. Individual means senses, mind, intellect. So what is adharma at the level of the senses? Question. What is adharma at the level of the mind? Question. What is adharma at the level of the intellect? Again, question. Eliminate those. Eliminate those. Are you able to follow? Now, what is happening to the individual? What is happening to the individual? The human being, the individual, drags himself down to materialism and sensualism. He turns materialistic and sensualist. And they rarely entertain thoughts of divinity. Being caught up in this sensuality and materiality, they do not entertain the thoughts of divinity at all. Consequently, because of the sensuality and materiality, what are the consequences of sensualism and materialism? Consequences of sensualism and materialism is immorality. There cannot be a moral sensualist. That doesn't exist. sensualist in he is immoral. There cannot be a dharmic way of acquisition, sir. It's not a dharmic way of acquisition. Elsewhere in the Gita, he calls it as kriya. He uses two words, kriya and karma. Kriya means actions done for acquisition. Karma means loka sangraha. Dharmic way of kriya doesn't exist. You may not agree with it. That's why I said in the very beginning itself, whose authority to determine dharma? Another why wouldn't get no. Because it's already established. What? Who's the God? They are the qualified established control already. Cheating is Allah. First is what? There cannot be a moral sensualist. Is it possible? It is not possible. For a sensualist, a materialist will necessarily lead the necessary consequence of it is immorality, barbarity. Immorality and barbarity. Educated person sitting and cheating the other. What is it called? Even terrorism is not. Even terrorism is not that. Not that bad, no. You follow what I am saying? For the goal is, what is the goal? Materialism and sensualism. You follow? These great masters come and say, when you are materialistic and sensualistic, you don't have the thoughts of divinity at all. Why you don't have the thoughts of divinity at all is because you are caught up in this. You are caught up in this samsara. You are caught up in this samsara. In the Chandogya Upanishad, chapter 6, liberation, these Upanishads have, in Chandogya Upanishad chapter 6, there is a reference. Like Devadatta went back to Gandhara. Like Devadatta went back to Gandhara, you attain moksha. Like. It's a reference to a story. Devadatta had a lot of acquisitions and possessions. Devadatta from Gandhara came to another country, acquired lot of possessions, acquisitions. And when you have a lot of acquisitions and possessions, what happens? What happens? You want more. Thieves came. That is why, putti varam. Correct, no? Yaar varanga, we have to keep watching. Cameras has to be kept. Everywhere. Devadatta had a lot of acquisitions, and thieves came and took away everything, blindfolded him, tied him to a tree in the middle of the forest and left. Tied him to a tree, blindfolded in the middle of the forest and left. A compassionate man came. It says, the story says, a compassionate man came. Remove the blindfold. Yeah. Kanna katti, kaiya katti potono. First, what will you help? What will you do first? Huh? Remove the blindfold first, no. Remove the blindfold and release him from the tree, from the bondage. And then he asked how to go to Kandara. Kandara is modern day Kandahar. The modern day Kandahar is what the reference is to Kandahar. That's because it's all one country, no. It's all one country. And he said, go straight. And Devadatta reached Gandhara. Like Devadatta reached Gandhara, you attain moksha. It's a complete story. It's a complete story that explains how you got into samsara bondage and how to liberate yourself from this bondage also. Devadatta, lot of acquisitions, means what? Materialistic and sensualist. A materialist and sensualist is one who will have acquisitions. He had acquisition. And what happened? The thieves came. Who's the thief? What is the thief? Avidya. Avidya is the thief that came and tied you in the middle of the forest. The samsara is this aranya. The samsara is aranya, forest. Forest means you are clueless to where you are. You are clueless to what to do. You are clueless to where to go. He was tied. Tied means suffering in bondage. A compassionate man came. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirvavati bharata abhyuttanam dharmasya tadatmanam srujamyaham. A compassionate man came. Why does that man have to come to the middle of the forest? Yada yada hi dharmasya. That's what he said. I come. What is it? What did he do first? Removed the blindfold. Motherly, he gave him some jnanam. He gave him some jnanam first. Removed it. Not only he gave him the jnanam, he gave him the means. The means to untie. He found some hope for freedom now. And then he asked, what is the way? What is the way? He said, go straight. He walked straight and he hit a dead end where the road turned into a fork. He said dead end turned into a fork. Right or left? Now you can't go back to that man and ask right or left. Or go straight no சொன்னது. Yeah. Blindfold எடுத்து untie பண்ணி go straight னு சொன்னது greatest. அதுக்கு மேல என்ன பண்ணுவோம்? தூக்கின் போய் விட்டா கூட you will be happy, no? Go straight. And he hit a fork. Devadatta hit a fork. What is the fork? The road turning left and right, not knowing which side to go. Then he used his meda. Then he used his whatever knowledge he has gained, whatever help he has gained, he applied it. He used it. How he used it? He examined the path. The path that takes to the right had a footprint in it. The path that takes to the left had no footprint. What he did? What he did? Which path you have to take? Huh? Which path he has to take? No footprint or footprint? Devadatta took the path of footprint and reached Gandhara. Hold on. The Shastras are the footprints. They have already gone through the process and they have laid it out. And they have laid it out clearly for you. This man had the Meda too. This man had the intellect. That's why it's called Meda. Intellect. He had the intellect to pursue that and reached. And where is his yada yada hi dharmasya? That compassionate man who came and removed the blindfold, removed the bondage and told him, go straight. Whenever anybody is stuck like this, I come. Whenever anybody is stuck like this, I come. And he has to come again and again because so many of us are stuck and he has a lot of work to do. And he keeps coming again and again. This is the verse. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutthanam dharmasya tadatmanam sujamyaham. That man is a compassionate man because he is always roaming in the forest. That man is a compassionate man because he is roaming in the forest. For what purpose? He knows people will get lost here and he knows the way. This is what he says. I come again and again. Just remember the story. Devadatta reached. இது எங்க வருதுன்னா சாந்தோக்கியால வருது. The story comes in Chandogya Upanishad. Memory lane I am saying chapter 6. And I think it is right only. Chapter 6 of Chandogya he says, like Devadatta reached Andhara. However, you have to derive everything. He will not give. In the story he doesn't give. Right to, left to, fourth to. Otherwise he doesn't give. Like Gandhara, like Devadatta reached Andhara. Jnanam. He comes and gives out this. For this compassionate roaming in the forest, where there is no need for him to do that. Are you able to follow? Where is he living? He is not living in the desha. He is living in the forest. For what? For what purpose? Somebody will be lost in this forest. That's why the samsara is aranya. Aranya means huge forest. Yeah. Not park killers. It's not a park. It's a forest. Forest means, see, we don't know what forest is at all because we have never experienced the feeling of what it is to get lost. Or we all have experienced what it is not to have materialism. Please understand that. We all have experienced what it is not to have material objects. Emotional satisfaction. But we have never experienced what? The helplessness of getting caught in the forest. What is the forest means? The samsara is this forest. The samsara is the forest. How do you know that you are lost in it? How do you know that you are lost in it? Whenever sensualism and materialism takes over, that's the starting point of you going to get lost in this forest. Therefore, what do you do? Be alert at the level of the first dharma. Dharma. So you be alert at the level of senses, the first dharma. Then comes the second. Emotional. What is the dharma for the individual at the emotional level? The dharma at the emotional level is not to get agitated. That's all. The dharma of the mind is not to be agitated. That's all. So find out all that is agitating you and eliminate that. Stay away from that. Eliminate that. You follow the dharma at the level of the mind. At the level of the senses, at the level of senses means body, at the level of the mind, what is dharma? Not to be agitated. How do you know that it's the dharma? Because everybody wants to be unagitated. Everybody wants to be not agitated, unagitated, happy, peaceful. Okay, happy and peace once a week, once a month, once a year. Is it okay? Is it okay? It has to be Shashvatam. It has to be permanent. It has to be a Shashvatam. It has to be permanent. Abdinna, you have to seek it in permanent, no? If that's what you want, where you should seek? If permanent happiness is what you want, where you should seek that? In that which is permanent. That's where another story comes here. Search in the right place. Don't be like that lady having lost the needle in the house and searching for it in the street. She lost the needle in the house. And where is she searching for it? ஒன்னொன்னுக்கும் ஒரு ஸ்டோரி வச்சுக்கோங்க. தர்மா இதெல்லாம் உபனிஷதிக் தர்மா. அவர் தர்மா இஸ் ரைட், ராங், குட், பேட் அதெல்லாம். This is upanishadic and dharma is this. At the level of intellect, what is the dharma? The basic function of the intellect, the basic instinct of the intellect is to reason, vichara. The basic function of the intellect is to reason. Sorry, not vichara, reason. Vichara is inquiry. Reason. The basic instinct of the intellect is nyaya, reason. Nyaya it is. Romba nyayam we say, no? What does it mean? Anyayana, unreasonable. No. So, nyaya means this. So, the basic instinct, the basic function of the intellect is to reason. Liberation means right reasoning. What is right reasoning? I and mine I, me, mine. I, me, mine. I, me, my, mine. I, என்ன சொன்ன? I, me, my, mine. Inquire this. This is dharma at the level of the intellect. This is dharma at the level of the intellect. Whenever these three comes down, I come back to establish. Whenever these comes down, I come back to yada yada hi dharmasya glanirbhavati bharata abhyutthanam dharmasya tadatmanam sujamyaham. Are you able to follow? Whenever this declines, I come to resurrect. What? It is individualistic. Dharma is individualistic. Now, what is dharma at the individual level? Again, it doesn't mean right and wrong, good and bad. Because again, the individual goes through guna, desha, kala and all that. Therefore, all this is not any dharma. So, what is that which is in relation to the individual? At the level of the senses, what? Sensualism and materialism. அதுக்கு எக்ஸாம்பிள், அதுக்கு ஒரு ஸ்டோரி வச்சுக்கோங்க. தேவதத்த காந்தகாரம் மறக்காது இல்லையா? அதனாலதான் அந்த ஸ்டோரி அங்கதான் ஹைஜாக் பண்ணிட்டு போனாங்க இல்லையா? தட்ஸ் வேர் தி ஹைஜாக்ட்னு the flight Kandahar. Like Devadatta went back to Kandahar. One. Second dharma at the level of the mind. Why it is called as dharma? Because you want that and you want it to be permanent. You are asking for that. They are not saying seek permanency. Are you able to follow? Why it is called dharma is because you are not told to seek permanency. You are seeking permanency and they say where it is. Understand it like that. They are not telling you seek permanency. They are not telling you seek infinite. You are seeking infinite already. You are seeking permanency already. All that they are saying is like the fork road. Like the fork. A few people went through this road have gotten that. A few people who took to the right got that. What is that? Moksha. Liberation. At the emotional level, what is dharma? Not to be agitated. Not to be agitated. But I am all the time agitated. All the time excited. Agitation because of desires not fulfilled. Excited because desires are getting fulfilled. Both are disturbed states of the mind. How to go to that which I want. Eliminate all this. This is dharma at the level of. Okay, the third thing, dharma at the level of the intellect. For which you need to know what is the basic function of the intellect. Mind means peace. Intellect means reason. That you have to understand first. That's why everybody has a reason to. You have a reason for everything. You know that, no? You have a reason to buy a house and you have a reason to sell the house. You have a reason to marry and you have a reason to divorce. You have a reason to acquire and you have a reason to dispose. A child also has to talk to the child has a reason. You talk to a mad person also has a reason. You talk to a drunken man, the drunken person also has a. It means intellect is that which? Reasons. Nyaya. Reasons. One kind of reasoning takes you in one direction, which is getting lost in the forest, circling in the forest. Another kind of reasoning takes you out of the forest. Yeah, Kandahar, good words. Takes you out of that forest. So you have to reason in such a way that you don't get caught in the forest. You have to reason in such a way that you have to get out of the forest. And all our reasoning is how to be stuck in the forest. Correct the forest, change the forest, remove it, make it comfortable, make it livable, and then build a leaf house, and then build a wood house, and then build a palace. Ella inga forest ulliyana. And how much ever you do in the forest, what will not go? The nature of the forest will not change. Whatsoever you do, the nature of the forest will not change. So you continue to remain in misery. That misery is adharma. A person who is in misery has to understand and get out of that misery. A person in misery, what dharma he can practice? What righteousness he will have? He himself is begging. What he can? He himself is begging. What he can give. Imagine if Zimbabwe comes and says, we give India 100 million. We give India 100 billion. They themselves are it doesn't work. You follow? Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirbhavati bharata abhyuttanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. O Bharata, bhasi rataha. Bhasi means light. Rataha means reveling. India, geographically also, reveling in light, no? Reveling in light means the period of light is balanced. It's stable. All parts of the world gets light, but there are Norway mother what to do. He was telling me that boy who went there to. He is telling me, Kartana Pota Kuda sunlight is because it's a land of midnight. So no, he's saying sun doesn't set at all. Abada. Avru sun doesn't come at all. Vanga it comes. Pona Bhasi, that's why Bharata. It's a derivation. Bhasi Rati iti Bharata. Arjuna, you are supposed to revel in this light. What is the light? The light shown by these great masters. The light shown by the Shastras, you are supposed to revel. But you are not reveling in light, you are blindfolded in. What a condition it is, no? It's a forest. You are blindfolded and tied. What a frightening situation it is. Maximum insecurity, no? Maximum insecurity. That's what a human being feels today. Irrespective of everything, there is a very deep sense of insecurity, as in Devadatta in forest. As in Devadatta in forest. How is Devadatta in forest? Singing and whistling and dancing happily, How is he in forest? Tied. Blindfolded. Middle of the forest. After you go and tell him, be dharmic, follow dharma. அப்படிலாம் இருந்தா ant will eat you up alive. Ants will eat you up alive there. Yeah. All that is needed is thousands of ants to descend on you at the same time, all of them. If a colony of ants descend on you at the same time, you will be eaten up alive. What dharma, Allah, first take me out. A compassionate man comes and a compassionate person comes and takes you out. சாந்தோக்கியால compassionate person எல்லாம் சொல்லப்பா நான் சொல்றேன். Because otherwise, what is the need for him to be in the forest? Why is he in the forest? He knows the way, he knows where the he is there, he knows where. Otherwise, how will he? No. But he chooses to be here to help. That's what he says. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. Devadatta Mar, if you get caught in the forest, I will come and help you. But I don't experience that. Now what to do? Adu kuda kavala Sunday class only they will teach you how to experience that suffocation. And then one day the great master will come and take you out. Correct? Yada yada hi dharmasya. One of the off-quoted verses. And off-quoted verses is nearly completely misunderstood. That is why it is off-quoted. And then you need to understand it rightly. To summarize it, dharma not as in external, dharma as in internal. Dharma not as in collective, dharma as in individual. A powerful individual automatically will be beneficial to the society. He need not make an effort to do anything to the society. Automatically by default he will be beneficial to the society because he has light. No? He has light. Even if he stays quiet now, he will be a benefit. Therefore, you need not worry about the society alone. Even if you are genuinely worried about the society, what you should do? Correct. You have to fortify yourself. Clear? அது இதுல flightல சொல்ற மாதிரி. When the cabin pressure goes low, what you should do? First you put the mask. Apprama try and put it to the, no, I am a very unselfish person. This is very selfishness. I will not do it. I will put the mask in. Otherwise, no, you will not put the mask in the nose. You will put the mask in the ears. Why? Because you yourself is deluded. No? You follow? So even from this angle, if you look at it, even if you are so worried about the society helping others and all, what you should do first? First to put the mask. Yes. Then there is a stability in you. Then you can I come again and again and again. It's an assurance. So satisfying, so relieving it is, so satisfying it is. When he says, I come again and again and again. What an assurance, what a relief it is. So that you know that it is there. I come back again and again. Under what circumstances? When adharma rises. What is the rise of adharma? Lost in materialism and sensualism, mentally agitated, wrong reasoning as in relation to I, me, mine. All Vedantic knowledge is constantly revolving around these three only. No? Why it revolves around only these three? Because this is what Dharma is And this is how you get over it. சரியா?